What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XDC Network at the request of Paul Red Live. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's talk about XDC. So it's been a while. You've had quite the journey, haven't you? The first time I talked about XDC, you guys, I feel like maybe it was like sometime over here, sometime at the top. You know, we've monitored it throughout this whole ride up, and I swear I haven't looked at it since since it had this immaculate rally. I wasn't even aware of how stupendous this was. But good job. We were expecting that you would see, you know, new highs relative to this. We just didn't know how high you'd fly, and I think it's safe to say that by the end of this cycle, with this kind of move coming in right now at this phase of the bull cycle, I think it's safe to say you will see new all-time highs. So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to where I think the all-time highs will be by the end of the cycle, but I want to focus more on where I think you're going to be by the end of January, because I think this move right now is only partially done. I think you had your initial move up, you went on pause for a week or two, whatever, and then the rest of this month going into January, I think you have more to go, and it probably does take you to your all-time high area, if not through it or just below it. So looking at this relative high here, and first off, just looking at the chart as a whole, if you look at it, it's got this nice kind of like, that's an Eve is what they might call it, and this could be an atom. I think if you draw the lines, it's not too hard to construe Eve and atom. Eve and atom bottoming patterns are actually very, very bullish patterns. And if it's not an Eve and atom, maybe it's an, oops, that was not the best. Maybe it's an Eve and Eve. You know, I feel like the atom, like drawing to the line, I feel like that looks more appropriate. But atoms and Eves, Eves and Eves, Eve and atoms, those are actually the most bullish patterns, because the V-shaped recovery, it implies this kind of immediate, very fast velocity recovery, and that's why it's obviously a stronger move. So I think that's what you have now, if that's true, and they are double bottom patterns most of the time, right? I think this could be construed as some kind of triple bottom, but you know, either way, tomato, tomato, whatever. Triple bottoms are more rare than double bottoms, but they do occur, and I think this is a prime example of one. The way you'd measure this Eve and atom pattern, if it is to be an Eve and atom pattern, is you would take the lowest point of the pattern right to that focal point there, or some people might call it the nipple. You put it right there, and then that's your measure move. So the idea would be, if you break out of this pattern, which you have, you've broken out of it, or you're in the process of breaking out of it now, that you inevitably would see a measure move all the way up to about 43.4 cents. You're at 8.3 cents now. And the thing is, this measure move, the thing about measure moves is they are ideas. They're not requirements. They're not prophecies. They're not written in stone, right? You don't have to go here. You could fall short of it. You could exceed it. And this measure move as well, you know, breaking out of this pattern, it doesn't need to happen all at once. This could be, you know, your initial move, you do consolidate and you continue moving higher, right? And you consolidate. And so it's just an idea. You absolutely could hit this level, but I would think you actually exceed it. Just going off of the trajectory you have right now, I would think that you do exceed it. But we're gonna get into the all-time highs. This is just a little taste of that, right? Sitting at about 43.4 cents there for a target based on this overall pattern. That's what you have to look forward to, just on one metric there. That says you're going up to new all-time highs. Okay, and this is another metric that I like to use, that I'm very comfortable with and very familiar with, is the Fibonacci retracement tool. We take an all-time high and we go to the low, the all-time low actually of this move, right? And then you measure out from there, you get your extended moves up here. This calls for, you know, future prospecting highs after you've had a full retracement of this zone here. So looking at what you've got going on now, and I really do like that you had an interaction with the 618 the first time, and here you are on the second attempt looking like you want to break through it, and I think you do. I think that's nice. Generally speaking, when you have two attempts for the 618, you do look to break through it. The first attempt, you do look for resistance most of the time, but if you get a third attempt, that normally implies that you're either not going to this zone, or you'll reach for it but you just won't get there, or maybe you at least hit the 1272. But it's normally weaker suggestions. The more effort, the more time that it takes for you to get above the golden ratio, it normally implies that you're not going to go as high in the overall extended range before seeing another kind of macro consolidation phase. But anyways, I've explained the hell out of that. The thing is from a high to a low, your targets are anywhere from 36.2 cents to 79 cents, and that makes sense because we already had a 43.4 cent target in the mix there, and that comes pretty close to this 50 cent target. So multiple metrics lining up with similar areas as far as targets go. I did say that I think you'll go higher than that 43.4 cent target. I think it was 43.4, maybe it was 44. I forget what it was from the measure move of this Adam and Eve here. I suppose we could do it again just real quick. It's kind of unnecessary, I think, but why not? Let's just do it. Just to have it. Come on, right there. Yeah, 43.4. I thought so. Okay. I want to look at the market cap real quick. XDC. I'm going to have to refresh CoinGecko. I know I'm going to have to. Done playing the game. XDC right here. Good job, by the way, you guys. All the XDC people. You guys deserve this. You've been through hell and back, quite literally, so you deserve it, man. Classic example of taking the elevator up, taking the stairs down, taking the elevator up, right? Beautiful, beautiful move. XDC, that's right. 1.2 billion is what you're at right now. Okay, so a 1.2 billion dollar market cap. XDC has been around for multiple cycles now, right? I think it's been around longer than this even, right? It's been around since like 2017, 2018, hasn't it? Am I thinking of something else? No, yeah, 2018. That's what I thought. Okay, yeah. So it's been around for a while. Something like this, it's been around for as long as this. I think it's deserving of a market cap that's above $100 billion. It doesn't mean that it has to see it just because it's deserving of it, but I think it can. I think it can see that, you know. And its highest market cap so far was a little bit higher than it's at now. Okay, so not quite at 2.5, but like 2.2, probably something like that. I absolutely believe that this thing could see a $100 billion market cap. So what's crazy is, as much as you moved up already, at a $1.2 billion market cap right now, this thing is still 100xable. Absolutely, this thing is 100xable from here on through the rest of the cycle. And it's crazy to say that. I know it might be crazy to say that because it's moved up so much. I mean, how much has it moved up in the past month and a half? It's moved up. It's done a 4x already. To say it's 100xable from here, I mean, that's nuts, right? Because 100x from the current price, let's see. Oops, that was not. Why do I keep doing that? Not what I meant to do. 100x from the current price would be all the way up here at 9,900%. Come on, something like right there. That's 100x from the current price. You've already done a 4x, right? 300% growth, that's a 4x, which would imply that from your low, you saw an overall growth of potentially like a, is that a, what would that be? 3, that would have to, if that's 100, 200, so that would be a 300x. Okay, that's not a 1000x. I just wanted to make sure. Yes, but still crazy, right? That's the difference, right? Between buying here or buying at the lows. It's 100x from here. It's a 315x from there. Anyways, getting sidetracked here. Just talking about the power of this overall move. I do think that that's possible. I do think that, you know, being around for as many cycles as you've been around, having this extremely bullish accumulation pattern, right? I don't know everything about this token, but it sounds like you guys are being utilized by the UK Parliament to settle things in whatever, I don't know, you know, there's some big stuff going on a political level and on a world like government stage for this. So there's definitely the potential for this thing to see some high prices. When I say it can break $100 billion, that's not even like the limit. It could go to 200, 300 billion. You don't know. I'm not saying it's going to go there. I wouldn't bet on that happening, but don't count it out. You never know. We always have these cryptos every cycle that go from the top 200, the top 400, and they make it to the top 100, the top 10, and they see these crazy gains. It happens every cycle. I'm not saying this is going to be that coin, but it has a decent chance to be. It absolutely has a decent chance to be. And at any rate, I do think it has a decent chance to go higher. If we're looking at this price right now, you're at about 8.3 cents. Enough of the philosophies. You know, the next target area, I would think, with the growth you've had already, I would think genuinely by the end of January, you could see another 4x from here, man. You could move up to 36 cents. You're at 8 cents right now. If you're not at 36 cents by the end of January, then that would be end of April, end of May kind of targets between here and there, you know, something like this, between 36 cents to 80 cents there. If you're not here by the end of January, you likely would be at least to your all-time highs. But to me, with how strong of a move up you've had already, with how bullish of an overall bottoming pattern you've had, I don't think that you're going to, when you resume this move, I don't think you're going to stop your all-time highs. You don't have to go all the way to 36 cents. You could stop somewhere in between. But certainly, I would think by the end of January, not by the end of December, because I don't believe this move is going to end in December. The year will end at the end of December, but the move, I think, will end in January. So by the end of January, I think you will be, if not at 36 cents, reaching for it. New all-time highs, probably well above 20 cents, even above 25 cents, and probably above 30 cents even. I would think you're reaching for this, if not at least there, right? Higher, I don't see that happening so much. Maybe you could be. The highest I'd give you would be 50 cents, but I think that would be crazy. But you never know, man. If it sees 50 cents by the end of January, you know this thing is definitely going to that 100x target from the current price, which by the way, 100x on this thing, that'd be what, $8.31. That's what 100x would be. So if that's at all possible, I wonder, is this on Bitfinex? We do have more historical data. That's what I thought. Okay. So looking at this overall high from 2018 to this overall low, I just want to do this real quick. We hit the 1414 right above it and then down to the 100 level. This is very bullish. Generally speaking, whenever you look at any kind of time frame for this kind of fib structure where you break out into the primary extended zone and you pull back and you find support at the 100. I literally made a video, I forget which coin it was, but I was talking about a coin that did this exact thing and it had a really bullish effect afterwards. And I was trying to say basically what I'm saying now, which is anytime you hit the primary zone and you pull back and find support right on the 100 level like that, you don't even get near the 886. The further away this low from this pullback comes, the further away that low is from the 886 area, the more bullish of an effect it has going forward. So when I say going forward, this is your primary zone. Your secondary zone is the 1886 to the 2618, right? That's at least how I've identified them. So essentially what I'm saying is with how bullish you are, I think that your next target overall, this is on a monthly time frame, this is on an overall all-time history time frame, so this might be end of cycle stuff, right? Or at least going more than just the next month and a half, but later down the road, I would think a good minimum target is $1.30 just based on this. And then look at that, $8.20 at the 2272 there. I was saying you could do 100x. I'm just saying, man, this area between here and there, based on the fibs, it is your likely destination ultimately. This is probably your cycle ending stuff. So at a minimum, I would expect XDC is at $1.30. But see, this is the secondary. This is your primary zone, right? 1618 to the 1272. The secondary zone is the 2618, 1886, right? That's that. You're not going to find that anywhere. You look up online primary fib extensions, secondary fib extensions. It's going to give you different answers. Everybody defines it differently, right? Or they might not even have those definitions. This is my own personal definitions from my own personal experience doing this for over 8 years now. This is just how I've identified it, how I kind of look at it, right? And there are rules that you can find that do agree with everything that I'm saying. You can find that online or through other people who do fib analysis. But you kind of, the more you apply this stuff, it's about noticing these trends. And again, I've got 8 years of experience noticing these trends. What I'm giving you is based and backed off of that, alongside with any kind of like formal educational stuff I've had on this as well. But I'm getting aside from the point. What I'm trying to say is I wouldn't expect, if this is your secondary zone, that you would stop at the very first target, right? With such a bullish look right here. You have a very bullish bottoming pattern here, double bottom from your bear market lows here, right? Very, very bullish bottoming pattern. You didn't even break below your 100, very bullish itself. I don't see you stopping at the minimum target. So the next target, it's actually not the 200. I have the 200 there because I kind of identify this as a zone in itself. I've actually said that I should make these the same color, but I digress. The next target would be at least $8.20, and it is pretty common. Just as here, you went a little bit above your 1414. I'm going to get rid of all these lines now. It's common to go above your 2272, just like you did here. So it wouldn't be crazy if you literally did see a 100x from here. That's all I'm trying to say. Now let's see if we can make sense out of that on another perspective, from a high to a low here. Look at that. Look at that shit, you guys. I'm sorry. Pardon my language. I know people bring this stuff up to kids sometimes. 2272 lining up with the double extension here, the golden extension, the 2618 of this range, right? I take this away. You see the 2272? It disappears, but the 2618 stays there. That's congruence. That's what do they call that? Convergence, I don't know. That's agreeance in the charts. There's multiple things, multiple fib levels that agree with that going up there, and we can see there's other levels too. Look at this right here. The 1618 of this extension is right here at the 36 cent area, which is where I think you're probably going to find resistance by the end of January, right? That's what I was saying. So there's multiple reasons to find resistance there. There's a couple of reasons to find resistance at about $2 there, and that's a psychological level. That might make sense. You break above $2, guys, it's on to 820. But I digress. I feel like it's very clear as to where I expect this thing to go by the end of the cycle. I'm not saying that it will go to 820. I'm just saying I would at least expect that it goes above $1.30. My minimum expectation would be $1.30, and with how bullish you are, I don't see you stopping there. So I would think that you at least go higher. From there, the only target based on the same fib would be $8.20, which also lines up with another fib level at $8.73. That's pretty close, right? Again, you can go just above that 2272 level. You could go up to $11, $10, who knows, right? You don't have to hit that line and bounce right off of it. You could fall short. There are other fibs, based off of your recent cycle high to lows. The extension here, the 2272 here, is at $3.87. It's completely possible. These lines are also ideas. They're not requirements. You don't have to hit these lines, right? But oftentimes enough, we do see a lot of significance around these lines, especially these primary and secondary fib target areas on a macro level. So all that to say, who knows where it's going to go? All I know is where, or I don't know. I would say I pretend to know. Maybe I assume to know might be a better way of saying that. I assume to believe that at a minimum, XDC will top off this cycle probably well above $1.30, right? Like that's the minimum target, which from here, from the current price, I mean, that's a 15x, almost a 16x right there, right? So that's your minimum. That's if you're doing bad, in my opinion, right? That's if you don't fully blossom into your full strength of this potential move that you could have. It's a 16x. That's not bad, man. That's really not bad at all, actually. Let alone if it goes any higher, right? If it goes to these other targets. And just because there's lines that line up, overlap each other, doesn't mean they have to go there. But it's nice whenever you see things agree, especially whenever you're going on pretty significant time frames. That's definitely nice. But all that to say, my friends, all that to say, if you stuck around for all the long-term stuff, you can get a little taste of the short-term stuff now. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. Let's do some short-term analysis and then finish this video up. So you are moving up. You've had a lot of volume come in on your move up. As you've been consolidating, you've lost volume. So that's actually nice. It's not a bad thing to lose volume as you're chilling, right? You want to see that you're moving down. There's not as much interest in you moving down, so there's less volume. Your RSI, it's giving your RSI a chance to cool off as well. You're actually down at the 50 area here, which doesn't look to be an area that you find support on too often. But you're probably, I have a feeling XDC, right? You've been not boring your whole life, but for a while, you've been cooped up, right, in this area. You've been cooped up here since June 2022, and you're just letting loose now. So I have a feeling your daily RSI, trying to compare it to anything we've seen recently, isn't probably going to help us because you're in a different situation now. So all I can go off of is what we have in the daily RSI. We have lower lows here in the RSI. It looks like you're finding support above the 50, hopefully. That's the idea here, right, which would be nice. You have lower lows in the RSI while maintaining higher lows in price. That's what they call hidden bullish divergence, which tends to mark continuation. Continuation, what I mean by that is like you have a high here, a low here, a higher low, a higher high. We just formed a higher low. Continuation would be a higher high, right? Continuing the trend. So, and I would assume, we probably continue that moving up by the end of this next week. We just started the week. We have 6 days, 21 hours left in this week. I would think that you probably don't move too much lower from here before moving higher. And let's go over that. Let's go over if you do move lower, right? Because, yeah, I'm aware. It looks like you have some bearish divergence here, but you already that move already played out. I don't think it's bad. And you're moving down. When you move up here on this bullish engulfing candle here, you had a lot of volume come in. That was the most volume you had. But any of these moves down, there's not a lot of volume, excluding this day here at the very top, which might make sense for a couple reasons there. But I want to look. What was I going to do? We could look at the 4 hour real quick. 4 hours looking bullish too, man. It's negatively charged right now. Like you definitely have a downward sloping trend. But if this breaks out, if you start climbing higher, you get above the 60 level on the 4 hour, that would definitely be a good signal that you're ready to move up pretty soon. I like that you had a double bottom, right? You haven't gotten a higher high yet, but you got a double bottom, right? You had higher lows to some degree. You had maybe a triple bottom even, right? Because that's two bottoms there. That's one there. But it's definitely nice. It's definitely nice finding lows like that. You had higher lows in the price, but you had lower lows. It's a double bottom, but slightly lower low here in the RSI that's hidden bullish divergence. So I really don't think you go lower. That's a nice double bottom on the price as well. And if you do go lower, it's going to be very negligible amounts. It's not going to be anything that's worth like sweating. But let's just see also from a low to a high. I mean, you're at 8.3 cents. The lowest I could see this thing going to is about 6.2 cents. if that, right? But I don't think you do that, man. I think you are going to move up higher in very bullish moves. It's very rare to find support on the 236 and continue to progress from there. But in very bullish moves, very bullish situations, you do see that happen, right? And I bet, let's just see here, high to low, yeah, 382. That's pretty common there, right? You took your high here, you found support on the 236s going up. You didn't even go to the 236 on that move, but here you're at your 236. Again, the lowest I'd go for is 6.2, 6.26 cents, something like that. But I don't even think you go lower than these lows, and I think you do start moving up soon. So by the end of this week, guys, if not certainly sometime next week, right? We have 6 days, 21 hours left in this week, but I think by the end of this week, you will resume this move up. You'll probably be at these high points somewhere around like 10 cents, 11 cents or more by the end of this week. That's what I think is coming your way. So I got nothing else to say. I think I've said enough. If you like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. This is pretty cool. Your monthly RSI is just getting overbought right now, right? The last time you got overbought after not being overbought for a while, right? Here you were getting overbought. I mean, just look at what you did, right? Here you were. Actually, I guess you got a little taste of it right here, a little bit right there, and you consolidated for a little while. But again, you've already consolidated. You're more. I would compare it more to this, right, than this little move here. But again, here once you moved up, you had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months until you found your top. So I definitely expect that this thing is going to continue to run. I don't think that it's anywhere near its all-time highs by the end of the cycle. But I would expect that we probably find turbulence around 36, 37 cents, I think is what it was by the end of January. You're at 8.3 cents now, so that's the target. I got nothing else I want to say. If you want to buy XDC, now's a great time to do it. It's not going to be here forever, so get it while it's hot. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.